ladies and gentlemen. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us right here on Influencer Radio, right here on the world famous. The world famous World Star Hit Radio. You could have been anywhere else today, but you are here with us. Thank you so much for joining us. And today, we don't know what we're talking about. I gotta be honest with you. We're gonna freestyle.
You know what? I would say the biggest thing that's kind of been, what's really good about this show is it allows us to kind of give people an inside look at what it takes to be like a business owner, right? Okay. So we've had a lot of dialogue today about building a business.
Okay.
We had a lot of dialogue today about what some of the hiccups that you face when you were a business owner. And so a lot of times people get out here and they have these ideas like, you know what, I want to be a business owner.
I want to start a business owner.
And that's the biggest thing, especially for millennials that taking control of their own destinies and getting out here and having their side hustles and either where you like a professional Uber driver or you decide to even do another business. That's what people want to do. But a lot of times people get out here and they don't have a plan.
I think so, and I think a lot of times people get sold on stuff, and the people that actually do it and have the experience in it, we make it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get out here in the real world and you find out, oh, I got to find a real customer now. Exactly. I got to go out here and make sales, and I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to go out here and take a product and show people the benefit of it and talk to people and get people to buy into it and get people to actually purchase this product from me. So I think one of the biggest things, because like you did say, we have been talking about building a business and talking about business all week and this type of stuff. I think one of the biggest things when you start talking about a plan, once again, like we talked about on 1100 AM, you got to know who your target market is. You got to find out who the customer is going to be. And me personally, that's one of the first things, okay? That's one of the first things that I started to look at when we started talking about, hey, this is a great new service. Okay, who we gonna sell it
to? Exactly, and what problem are you solving? What problem are you solving by bringing your product or your service to the market? Like, what are you solving? Is there a problem to solve?
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't understand that. When they don't understand what problem they're solving, who their customer is, it's hard to be in a business when it doesn't make money.
That's true. I mean, because honestly, with Influencer 365, we found out there was a huge need for a company to be able to come in and show businesses how to be able to market and how to be able to get visibility and how to be able to speak to their customers on social media, how to gain followings, how to, promote what they're doing without over advertising and exhausting their audience with all this advertising and stuff like that. So you are right. If you want to be an entrepreneur and if you do want to start a business, the key thing is to find a problem and solve it.
Absolutely. Just like we went to an interesting Mexican restaurant. We got some tacos. And we had a problem. We had a problem. We were hungry.
Yes.
We went in here thinking we were gonna get some good tacos.
The tacos were not great.
Yeah.
But no, it's so correct when we start talking about this whole entrepreneur world, because right now it's hot. Mm-hmm. It's sexy right now. Yeah. Oh my God, I own a business. I'm the man. I own a business. But it's great when you finally get over these humps and when you finally start to really understand what you're doing. But a lot of people don't understand. Look, number one, it takes 5 years to build a skill. Okay, before you're really solid in something and confident in something and you know it well enough to feel like, hey, I can do this, I'm the man at this, and I can go out here and make money at it. It takes almost 5 years to build a skill. So I think so many people get started and they get this idea that, hey, I'm gonna go out here and I got my, I got the new Huawei, okay, because they're making a big fuss about this, worldwide, these Huawei phones. I got the new Huawei, I'm gonna go out here and sell these Huawei phones. Mm-hmm. Okay, you obviously don't know about the Huawei.
No, I have no clue.
All right, China, they also have a huge technology market. Mm-hmm. Big secret, nobody knew, right? But over there, they don't really sell a lot of the American phones. They have different brands over there, and over there, one of the big brands is like Huawei, and it was something that happened with the government over there, and now they can no longer sell the phones. So now in the secondary market, a lot of these people trying to bring these phones to the Americas and trying to sell them, but they're starting to figure out and they're starting to realize that, hey, we don't want that over here. We want our Samsungs and we want our iPhones. Yeah. So, one of the biggest things is you have to understand that it's not going to happen overnight. Mm-hmm. You're going to make tons of mistakes getting started, and a lot of times those first few months in business, those first few months it's very, very crucial to get out there and get a good start. But in the same breath, you got to understand you really not gonna make a lot of money in the first couple of years.
Yeah, and I think it is important to be realistic about your expectations in business, and it does take a long time because it's like us. We just didn't wake up and we able to talk about business.
No,
we didn't wake up and just be able to get a show or anything like that. It's like it was years, decade, at least a decade or decades of for real like hard work,
trial and error
of being able to succeed and fail at the same time, but also keeping your head down and actually working. Like having a business and really having a business and being a business owner, it's about work, man.
So, as we said, if you would like to ask a question, please text us at the show at 770-870-8806, and we have our first question coming in right now.
He's so happy that
I am so happy. I'm not talking to myself. What are the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make when first starting a business that can be avoided? That is a very great question. Thank you so much, Miss Elizabeth Gullickson, that is coming from you all the way in Buckhead. She right around the corner, but she's watching the show. We appreciate you watching today. So, when we start talking about some of the biggest mistakes, what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes people that they make when they first get out here and get started as entrepreneurs?
I think a lot of times people don't really know themselves.
Okay.
I think we go back to brand, like we had an episode on branding, right?
Uh-huh.
You are your brand, right? Everything that you do, you are your brand. Like people get out here, but they don't understand. Like, you know what? I could probably just like to bake cakes.
Okay.
Right? I like to bake cakes. I'm the best cake baker in the world. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm bad at business development.
Yeah.
I'm bad at managing employees.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand like yourself and what your weaknesses are to understand what you need to put in, what measure you need to put in. Like if you know you're bad at business development, you need to go ahead and get you a business coach.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if you're a business professional anyway, you need a business coach. If you're going to be running a business, entrepreneurship, you need a business coach or some type of mentor to help you navigate the seas. So I would say that number one, know yourself. And number two, invest in yourself. Like get you a business coach or use some free programs. Like if you have an urban league in your community, they have free entrepreneurship classes.
That's true.
And most cities have some type of economic development arm where they help small businesses. The Small Business Administration is another good place to go.
Yeah.
But I don't think people do enough research on getting the advice to really break into the industry.
And I think that's a very valid point that you made there. And I think the other side of that is planning properly.
Mm-hmm.
We sit down with so many entrepreneurs, especially the young ones, that we sit down with, and it's like, oh man, I want to do this. I'm gonna be this type of influencer. I'm gonna do this type of stuff, and I'm gonna do this. Well, let me see your written plan. And you don't have any type of idea. And the value of this plan when you are in business, you're gonna have some rough days. You're gonna get punched in the face a couple times. All those got bruises. That's been out here doing business for a while. We have. And you're gonna have these days that something happens just completely just knocks your socks off. And you have no clue of what to do. That's where that plan comes in place. Because now I can refer back to this plan that we put in place to start with and say, well, this is what I said we were going to do. And this is how I said we were going to proceed. Yeah, I'm having a bad day today. We made some mistakes, but we're going to get back on this plan. And we're going to keep working this plan until this plan is successful for us.
Yeah, and then in your plan, just make sure you got some really good SMART goals in there. Because your plan could be like, I'm gonna make $1 million.
I know, right?
selling cookies. I'm gonna make $1 million a year selling cookies.
And when we start talking about SMART goals, we're talking about specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound.
Boy,
That is so important. I didn't learn that. They did not teach that in school. I went to public school in Alabama. Y'all did not teach us SMART goals. Okay, let me be honest with you. It is on you, Montgomery. But the other side of this question, Ms. Gullickson, so posed to us, was that do we have any advice for people that already have existing businesses? What kind of advice would we give them? I think the biggest advice I would give somebody, and one of the biggest things that we're starting to see, at the beginning of the year, everybody got all these, they got these big starry eyes. Oh my God, we're gonna make $1 billion this year, And around about this time of the year, stuff get real. It's like June, We didn't quite get towards that million we thought we was going to get to. But it starts to get real right about now, and you're starting to really see what your real revenue streams are, and you're starting to see the realistic amounts of money that you're going to make. And I think the biggest things that a lot of businesses don't do, they don't start to pad themselves for them slow periods. So I would say is to start to save money and start to direct money in an account or some type of saving to help you get through these slow periods. Because I've never ever in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I have never been in an industry, I've never seen a business that don't have some type of slow season.
But see, I think that's just knowing, really understanding your market. So as a business that's already established, you know your customer, you know your sales are doing well. You should know what your market does around time. So you know when I should be spending money, and I also know when I need to be lean, right? As a business, and so. You know, for existing businesses that are trying to get to the next level and trying to scale, it really depends on what you need. Like some people may need more actual capital, right? Okay. So you may need to go out and get you either an investor, or you may need to start to find out how can people invest into my company. Like when we talk with Nigel with Louis, right? He's at a particular point where he's built his business, he has the sales, but now it's time to scale and put his product in different states. And so now he has to bring investors to the table because it's going to take him, you know, a couple $1 million to get to another level. So it really depends on what a business needs to you know, based upon where it's trying to do as far as scalability. Every business is trying to scale, so it really depends.
Okay. Now we got one more question.
Okay.
This comes from Daryl Fitzpatrick out of Marietta. He wants to know, how can we use social media to grow our business? It's like we get asked this question almost literally every day. How can I use social media to grow my business? Social media represents almost 1 billion people at this point. It's almost 1 billion people. When you start to look at all these different networks, and I know Facebook boasts, hey, we got 2 billion or 7 billion. I don't even think there's that many folks on the planet. But you know, social. I know, right? Social media really represents a way to connect with people, and I think it's an invaluable source of connection and a way to engage your audience and engage, you know, your customers and stay connected to them. I think it's an invaluable part of a business. How to use it to grow your business, I would say it's kind of dependent on the business model that you have and what type of business that you're in. Because I got to be honest with you, I don't see it working for everybody.
Well, that's so you two good points. Okay. The first thing is how do you grow your business through social media? You pay for it. Okay. Right? So social media is about creating the content where you can run paid advertisements. If you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, especially if you have a new profile, it's very, very difficult to get the organic engagement because Instagram and Facebook are in the business of making money. Okay. And so if you're not paying for it, you need to run some Facebook ads, you need to run some Instagram ads, you need to run LinkedIn ads. But that's, again, knowing your audience so you can make sure you have that targeting right, you can make sure that the creative is right, and then you're also sending people to you, having them take the action that you want them to take. So it's another whole other thing in that. But you definitely have to pay for it.
Yeah, and I got we got an illustrious guest today.
Nothing but illustrious guests.
We do nothing but illustrious guests right here on Influencer Radio, and today we have a wonderful guest for us. Yes. She has over 5,000 people that's tuning in to watch her today. We in front of 65,000 people. How all y'all doing today? But she is an illustrious guest, and she might disagree with you. Because she said she didn't pay for her follow. She said she that bad. They follow. They jump on it. They going to get on there. They going to hit the like button. They going to do all that type of stuff. She got the engagement also. We'll be sitting down with her right after we come back from this break, and we'll be talking about Instagram, being an influencer, and how we grow these super huge profiles like this. How about that?
All right.
We'll be right back, right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us right here on the world famous World Star Hit Radio. We are sitting here with Miss Food, it's a girl, Miss Olivia. How you doing today?
First of all, foodista girl.
Okay, foodista. I'm gonna stop messing
Everybody messes it up. Don't worry.
Foodista.
It's actually part of why people remember it. I think because there's always a lot of conversation around what it is.
You even do your bio. You even do the instructions.
We did practice. It's okay.
We're gonna start over one more time.
That's okay.
So how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything that you would like to talk about today?
We can talk about foodie stuff in Atlanta around. I do a lot of traveling too.
Yes, I was just looking at your profile.
So Olivia, just for our audience, you know, that's watching it right now. So tell us a little bit about your blog. How did you get started with this? Where did this concept come from?
Perfect. So I have what I call an Insta blog because it's
Okay.
not actually a blog. I don't actually write anything except for captions because one, don't have time, and two, I don't really like writing that much.
Okay.
I just like taking pictures and eating good food and sharing that. So I started it about 4 years ago when I was in New York. I actually lived in New York for a long time.
Okay.
And I knew I was moving to Atlanta, and I kind of wanted to, showcase everything I was experiencing along that route, but also wanted to make my New York friends jealous. And also just sort of like publicize how awesome Atlanta is, because I think at that time and even on into now, Atlanta was going through a real revolution in the changes happening within the city, a
Yes.
lot of internal movement and growth, and it was a really exciting, and still is a really exciting time for people in the city and specifically people enjoying the food scene in the city.
Now, when did you start your blog? When did that
So
happen?
it's June of 2015.
Okay,
Wow.
okay, so you've been on there for a while.
Yeah, I've done it for a while. I think I have about 2,000 pictures that I've posted, which
Yes.
is a lot.
Wow.
You eat a lot.
Foodie activity.
Yes.
Well, and it started because I was living in New York.
Yeah.
I was going out to dinner anyway.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so I was like, this is all part of the things that I do
Yeah.
anyway.
You know, I remember like when I first got on Instagram, that's pretty much what I did. Like I just took
just take
pictures of
your
food,
right.
and I feel like
think
that's what
everybody
people-
kind of started on
Everybody
Instagram.
did, right.
Nobody else like, what should I take a picture of?
Right, and so I have my account that's for food and my account that's for my personal, and I keep
Gotcha.
them separate
Keep
because
it
it turns out people don't really want to see your food unless they're specifically looking for foodie options, right?
Now, tell me about some of the people that you engage with and that you connect with, like your followers and this type of stuff. Are you followed like by a whole bunch of restaurants and this type of stuff, or is it just regular people that connect through food? Like, how do you build a following of 65,000 people just posting pictures of food? How do you do
So,
that?
great question. I think I started at a good time when people were really engaged in trying to find accounts to follow.
Okay.
So that was one thing. Separately, I do follow a lot of foodie people. I follow like 7,000 people, and it's other foodies, it's restaurants. I try to support anyone who looks like they're trying hard and
Okay.
they reach out to me, they engage with me, whatever. I'm not super picky about who I follow. I just try to help other people and support. So you'll see a lot of foodies with like, only 100 people that they follow. And I don't love that because I think it's
Yeah.
better to like support and be part of a foodie community.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of engaging with other people's posts. I spend a lot of time on Instagram, just commenting, right, responding to things.
Okay.
There's a
Now,
lot of engagement.
do you see that helps? Does that,
Yes.
Do you see that like when you do a lot of commenting and you do a lot of sharing back and forth and you're actually engaging with people? Does that really help
Yes.
your own engagement, or does
Yes, it helps
does
a
it
lot
matter?
actually. So, one, engaging with people gets people to follow you and to be part. They see you as a real person, so they're interested in staying as part of your sort of journey.
Okay.
Two, Instagram, and this is my own personal theory, I don't know, this is not proven because they don't publish their algorithms anywhere, but I think
Yeah, exactly.
Instagram publishes you for not being active.
Yeah.
So the more active you are, the more people discover you, the more visible your posts are when you actually share them in your permanent feed, the more your stories show up. It all contributes to a whole.
I think that's so true, right? Because I notice when I'm like on when I'm being active on Instagram, like I get followers, I get all these likes and things like that. But then when I'm not active, it feels like Instagram takes away my followers.
It does. And I went through a period of time where I wasn't posting as much. I was just really busy with work and everything. And I noticed a sharp decline in the number of people who are following me.
Mhm.
Not who left my feed, but the new followers that I was
Okay.
getting really stalled. And I'm pretty sure Instagram was punishing me for not being much more engaged like I typically am.
Yeah.
Well, most of these platforms run off algorithms,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times it's robots and different programs trying to decide relationships and trying to see, all right, what's more popular, what are more people interested in, and honestly, obviously people are interested in food.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody's got to eat.
And it's very visual too, right? That's the other thing with food is that it's so people are looking for things that they can visually imagine and then translate that to something they want to eat.
Yeah.
So it ties very nicely with a kind of Instagram activity.
Now, do you do any like collaborations, like with any other foodies, or do you do collaborations with like different restaurants? Like how does people? So, are you collaborative in that space?
So I don't do very many like sponsored posts, which is the way that a lot of people monetize these types of accounts. I don't do it because one, I work a full-time job separately, and two, I don't really like doing those things unless it's something I feel really passionate about. Then again, of course, I break that rule. So bear in mind, you will see future things where I break that rule. But generally, I don't because I don't think it's part of my sort of brand. But I do go to a lot of events, and I do get invited in by restaurants, and those types of things I really enjoy because I like hanging out with the other kind of foodie blogger type people, and I also like trying new places. So if a restaurant wants me to come in and try their stuff, that's fun for me.
That would be my next question, because so many people are interested in Instagram and so many people are trying to be Instagram influencers. What is the benefit of having all these people following you? Because I know you getting DMs and you getting restaurants hitting you up. Hey, when you post this,
good.
So, but no, tell us a little bit about the Insta fame. What is that like? Can you go eat for free? Can me and you go
so
to a
people
restaurant
don't
and eat for free?
know me. I don't put my face out.
I see that.
Right, I do occasionally actually. I mean, you'll scroll back and you'll find some, and I do put myself in stories. So it's not like I show up and people are like, ooh, because it's it's minor. It's not really like celebrity, but I do get invited in a lot for things, and a lot of times those events are comped because it's a restaurant showing their menu and they want you to try certain things, and they'll put out a whole spread, and typically you have like 10 influencers around and everyone's taking pictures, and it's more just like a try little bits of things type of experience. It's not like a real sit down meal. But I like those. It's fun, and we all the food like Insta bloggers know each other, so we all
So it's like
hang
a
out.
society of.
I would say society, but it's like everyone.
It's like a social club.
Yeah, everyone has fun. It's not
Yeah.
limited. It happens to be the same people who are invited to the same things over and over again. So, but it's it's a fun scene, and I've made some good friends through it, which is actually a really nice way to meet people who share a very common interest.
Okay.
So
So you're around town in Atlanta, and Atlanta has become like you said, a buzzing food scene.
Totally.
Right? So what are some any new or exciting restaurants that we should be trying right now?
So, I mean, Atlanta has so much happening all the time. There's just constant growth. I do love that there are new things popping up inside of the city, too, because for a long time you saw a lot of sprawl outwards. Along the Beltline, there's just a whole host of new things popping up. If you look at the strip that's kind of just past Krog, you have like Nina and Raffi, and like Hawkers, bunch of new kind of fun stuff happening right there, which is great. I love that. And then kind of moving back towards the Bucket area, you have Little Ray, which is a new fast casual chicken spot. And there's just, there's new stuff popping up all the time. There's a new ramen place that's coming, that's the sister restaurant of a really famous ramen restaurant in LA that I think that's supposed to be in the fall this year. I'm super excited about because I'm like such a ramen fan. So that'll be great. Momonoki in Midtown is also really fun, and that was last year opened up. So you have like these things that are happening inside of the city that just are really great.
So you're the major question we want to know. What's your favorite food?
Oh, that's so tough because I love everything. So, I mean, I definitely think ramen is up there in my top.
Over some of the stuff
5.
that you got on this profile, because like this burger alone.
I eat a lot of burgers.
You would rather eat ramen noodles.
Yeah, I would, because it's just so salty and amazing, and I love noodles, and I love.
Now this ain't the ramen from the pack. Now this is
No,
like real.
it's not. It's
What's the difference? Because like the ramen from the pack, that's the one I know about.
Yeah,
okay. The ones you eat them and then it's like 12 months later it's still in your stomach.
Alright, you need to go to Jinya. There are 2 locations.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's like a Japanese and / California chain that is awesome.
They make the noodles there.
Yes, they hand make them.
No, it's crazy. I was watching Food Network last night. And they were making like noodles and stuff. I had no idea it was so easy to do. It's like just some flour and
well, they like hand pull it.
Yeah, they pull it around. Like it's a
bigger operation.
I'm gonna start a noodle operation. That's what I'm gonna do.
I mean,
it's
good. People like it. Everyone likes fresh noodles. That is a thing.
Us 3, we're gonna start our own.
I'd be cool with that. I eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
So I'm my wife wants to do date night.
Okay.
This weekend, so I'm trying to take her somewhere new.
Okay.
And
Stop taking them
So
to McDonald's.
let's pick a no more
Don't take them to McDonald's
Let's
no
pick a
more.
neighbor.
I'm taking a Red Lobster.
Yeah. What neighborhood do you want? Because it's
You know-
easier
okay,
to
okay.
think about neighborhoods in Atlanta.
So we normally go out to East Atlanta Village.
Yep,
So
great
we do
area,
a lot of
love
places
it.
there.
Have you been to the bagel spot there, Emerald City Bagels?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
been
so
to-
not for date
No, not
night,
date
but
nights.
for like brunch
Uh-huh.
or breakfast
Okay.
morning, you should do that. Their
Okay.
bagels are awesome,
Okay.
and that's kind of new too. Anyway,
Is that by the that's near? Is that by Grindhouse over there on More?
no, it's right off of the East Atlanta Village main
Okay.
drag.
Okay. Okay.
Super good.
All right. So go over there.
Yeah,
All right.
but that's not date night.
That's not date night. Yeah. So I need a good restaurant. We like burgers.
Okay.
You know, but we eat other things too. She's like kind of healthy.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Do you like seafood?
yeah, seafood.
Okay.
Yeah, seafood. works.
So
Real
I mean, not too far from right now. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Not
I got
too
cheddar bay
far.
biscuits.
So do you guys ever go out in Inman Park?
You know what?
Cute neighborhood.
No, we haven't done a lot of things over
So
there.
I like Inman Park because you have like a whole night ahead of you that you can do right there. I really like a restaurant there called Beetle Cat. Really cute.
Oh yeah,
Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been to Peter
Oh
Pan.
well, then
Yeah.
I can recommend that one.
Okay, yeah.
Have you been to
Peter Pan.
Soda right there?
No, I have been to Soda.
That place is good. So that's a little
Okay.
higher end, but it's great for date night.
Okay.
So you have that option. You also have Boca Lupo, right, like around the corner.
Mhm.
So great noodles and that
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
stuff. So
Mhm.
less seafood, but I think either of those two could be really good.
Okay.
And then so you're right in Inman Park. You can go to Victory Sandwich Bar up the hill.
Yeah.
And so don't do sandwiches.
Don't do
I mean, their
sandwiches.
sandwiches are great, but like you do your date night at your date night
Gotcha.
spot. But then you can go get like Coke slushies after Jack and Coke slushies, which are
Wow.
amazing at Victory Sandwich Bar, which is awesome. And then you can even walk to like Krog Street Market and do like some sort of dessert there or whatever. And we were talking about pho earlier. There's a really good pho place at Krog Street Market, which is kind of random.
Oh yeah, it's really.
Pho
yeah.
Nam
Mhm.
is actually really good. But for date night, yeah, I feel like Boca Lupo is really cute, or Soda, which is nicer,
Okay.
but really good.
Okay.
And
All right.
I just like Inman Park as a place to go because it's so easy. You can do all of your things.
Yeah, you know what? Is really interesting as you get to see the development. Because I remember when we lived in the city, there wasn't really anything there,
No.
and then like in the last 3 years, it's like
It's booming.
booming.
Oh, and there's a cute French restaurant there called Bread and Butterfly. That's actually really cute.
Oh
for date
yeah,
night,
we
too.
tried to get in there. We were doing brunch. We tried to go over
They have
there.
dinner menu too.
Yeah, they have dinner menu.
Yeah,
We tried.
it's
We
good.
got some croissants out of there or something,
Yeah.
or some mac.
That place is cute and like
Brian
really
is a
intimate.
foodie. Okay. I just want to let y'all know.
There's so much fun stuff there.
Yeah.
And then if you look, so that's Inman Park. If you were to flip and go to the other side, like west side kind of area, you could do like any of the. I mean, there's like JCT Kitchen, which I'm assuming you probably have been
yeah,
to.
Yeah, been to JCT.
The Optimist, all of those good spots, which
Yeah,
again are
Optimist
like
is
such
really
classic
good.
sort of date night spots.
Yeah.
But I think that Inman Park is just it's easier.
You really like Inman
I
Park?
do.
I'm gonna have to go-
I
I'm gonna
also
have to go
live
back
like
over there.
right down the Beltline from there, so
Okay,
I walk
okay.
there a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
It's super easy.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's great.
Now, what advice would you give to some young Instagrammers that want to be influencers and want to grow profiles like this? What is, from your experience? I know you don't
Yeah.
do this professionally for money, but you know, in your experience growing a profile like this, and because it looks a lot like a lifestyle profile.
Yeah, it is what I'm
So-
usually what I'm doing. So,
Okay.
um,
It doesn't look like this what you do all the time.
no, it is. Well, so I travel a lot for work. So
Okay.
you see things in Atlanta when I'm not here, which
Okay.
happens a lot. I get people asking me like, I know you're in Connecticut or New York or whatever right now, or Seattle, whatever.
Wow.
Like, why are you but so it's things that I've done. So my advice for people starting up like specifically a foodie Instagram is to follow a lot of people in the same space
Okay.
so that you can learn from those people, and also so ideally that they follow you back. So start with that, like befriend a lot of people, engage with them, see if they want to follow you back, just like
Okay.
literally make kind of like virtual friends with them.
Okay.
Because that will help with, one, getting your following going, but two, also putting you within like the feeds of people who are actually interested in what you're posting about, so then they like your photo,
Mhm.
and then your photos trend more. Because if you
Okay.
have a bunch of followers who are not actually interested in your content, then your photos aren't going to trend well, and they're not going to pick up new followers, and it's
That's true.
a cycle that doesn't build, right? So that'd be the first thing, and then make sure that you curate your gallery. So
Okay.
like before you do any sort of like friending activity, like
So this is intentional.
oh yeah,
This is intentional.
oh yeah, this is my like
Because I think people
my like
need to
photo
hear that.
gallery.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean these are again it's things that I'm doing, but I spend a lot of time like editing, not actual editing. I do like
Uh-huh.
Instagram editing, But like using Snapseed and, you know, some other like kind of Instagram apps. I just like play around with things and touch up color and that type of stuff. But make sure that your gallery looks really nice.
Okay.
Set up like 20 images that are really good and make you look like a legitimate, you know, account.
Okay.
Before you do any engagement. Because if you don't have the gallery, no one is going to be interested
I get it.
in your account. Right?
It's gonna be
Just
like
doesn't-
one picture and it's
Right.
like,
People are like,
why?
Like, yeah, I don't care about this person, right?
Does consistency matter?
Yes.
Like, do people depend on your posts? Like every day they're just,
No.
I can't. Let me see what Food Easter Girl. See, I got it right.
Yeah, you got it.
Food Easter Girl.
Yeah.
Let me see what she posted today, so I can go give me some
Fifth
lunch.
time.
Like,
No, I don't think
is it-
anybody's looking. Well, I'm also pretty random
somebody
about
looking.
this.
Trust me.
Yeah, people are looking.
Yeah.
No, yeah, a lot of people are looking, but they're not waiting around.
Okay.
I don't also post at one specific time. I like to
Okay.
try out different times. Also, it's very dependent on my like actual life schedule, which is very random and variable. So I think it's good to have a consistent aesthetic.
Okay.
So having the same type of lighting, coloring, you know,
Oh, okay.
tones,
Wow.
cropping, like that type of thing. Like if you look at my gallery, I use kind of the same, I don't use any filters, but I use the same editing techniques across everything, so you don't see any that look like gray toned.
Yeah.
Or like
Okay.
monotoned, or
Yeah.
black and white, or whatever, because that's not my aesthetic. It's great if that's someone, but you have to do everything in that aesthetic.
Wow.
So, you know, that's fine to use, you know, they're all the different Instagram filters, and you can use like, I guess Snapseed and Visco have different filters that you can use, but if you're going to use those, then always use those. Otherwise, it looks really random and not kind of like consistent.
Gotcha.
Now, is this a business profile where you can actually
Yes.
see? So you can actually look at your analytics. You can see your engagement. You can see your audience. And this
Which
type
I
of stuff.
definitely would do, regardless of what stage you're at with your like social media or Instagram account. Business doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost you anything to have an Instagram for Business account, and you get so much analytics. I'm a data nerd. I majored in statistics, so I love digging into like the data of how I'm performing,
Okay.
when the right time to post is, you know, what the kind of fluctuation of my follower engagement looks like. All of that stuff is so interesting, and Instagram provides that to you. So
Now-
it's just like a free service.
we're practitioners of this stuff, but for our audience, what we have noticed and what we have seen a lot of times when we take someone's profile, for instance, like a lot of times their personal profile, and then we switch that to a business profile, we see that engagement go way down. Have you experienced that?
I switched mine so long ago
You wouldn't even.
that I wouldn't have noticed. It
I'm
would
so
have been
popular. I'm so high.
No, I probably
Yeah.
did that 3 years ago at a point
Okay.
where I wasn't, where also the algorithm was much more favorable.
Yes.
Yes.
I think over time it has evolved to be less favorable, to your point that because they now charge for,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
people to pay for more visibility. I didn't feel an impact, but I believe you now that is something that can impact you, just because you're now kind of, I guess, sort of positioning yourself as a different
Yeah.
account. And Instagram again is so unpredictable. You don't know.
Exactly.
You can't really-
It's no, but what we've been able to figure out is it's about that first 30 minutes when the post is up.
Yes.
So that
very
first
important.
30 minutes is important to get likes and engagement you're going to get, because that's going to stretch it for the rest, or to get on the rest of the timeline.
That's super important. So, you know, in that first 30 minutes, if it's a sponsored post that you really care about, ask your friends to comment and like it.
Yes.
There's no harm in texting a couple of your buddies and being like, hey, I just posted a sponsored post. Can you like comment and like it?
Yeah.
Nobody
it's-
minds. Just
It's so funny.
there's no shame.
This is stuff that we tell our clients, and it's stuff that we tell people all the time. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. Send out a few messages
I have a
and get some
family
people
text
that know
chain.
that you just did.
I
Wow.
text like 10 of my family members and ask them to engage when it's something that I really care about. I don't want to, you know.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
a certain point, they won't want to. It's
like every day,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, no,
Let's
I
go
don't.
like
I
this.
it's not an everyday thing. But if it's something that it's sponsored or I
Yeah.
feel really passionately about it and I really want to do well, like I don't mind asking them, and they don't mind either. It's
Mhm.
like takes 30 seconds, so
Yeah.
it's really
Well,
easy to do.
We're sitting here with Foodista Girl,
Nailed it.
Miss
yeah.
Olivia. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and interviewing with us today. We've got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to do the ABJ Hot Topics. So let everybody know how they can connect with you.
Perfect.
Is
so
it just Instagram, or are we
Yep,
everywhere?
the easiest
or-
way is to go onto my Instagram, because I also have my email if people want to email or whatever, but
Okay.
it's Foodista Girl, like fashionista, so Foodista girl. And yeah, all of my contacts there. People can message me, email me, whatever.
And girl is spelled Girl, not Gurl.
That's,
For those.
yes, good point. Yes.
Girl.
Yeah. That would have been fun, but I know I didn't do it that way.
Well, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you coming and hanging out
Thank you
with
guys
us.
for having me. It's been
Like I
really
said, we
fun.
got to go to a break real quick, and then we're coming right back. We'll have some ABJ hot topics for you guys. We'll be right back. And we are back right here on the world famous World Star Hit Radio. You are here with Kevin, C Pride, and Brian Brown. We are your hosts, and we're sitting here with Food It's a Girl. Foodista girl.
goodness.
Like Barbie fashionista, okay?
There you go.
We're sitting here with Foodista girl,
It's hard.
with at Foodista girl
Yeah.
from Instagram. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Right now we're gonna do some of our Atlanta
Like
Business
like
Journal.
You said Instagram like you live there. Like she's from the wonderful
From
country of
the gram.
Instagram.
She said, "Don't keep personal."
Perfect. It's so perfect.
Yeah, so we do have our hot topics of the day, powered by the Atlanta Business Journal, your number one source for business news. And so in the news today, we have Snapchat announces new shows from Serena Williams, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and others. So Snapchat announced that it's making shows with big names like Williams, Schwarzenegger, and Kevin Hart online. It's launched its original content effort about 2 years ago, and today is unveiling a new program called Creator Shows. So the show is going to be airing this month with exclusives to Snapchat, and basically, is this going to help Snapchat, kind of?
I don't know.
Catch up
Snapchat
to-
has been like a network looking for identity for so long now. It's like, what is Snapchat? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Twitter? Is it, what is Snapchat? Other than it's kind of like a messaging platform. So I don't know. It's like, I know they went public not too long ago, and I don't think they really found out a real good monetizing strategy or anything like that. So I don't know. I think, celebrities always, they have influence. They'll bring people to the platform. Will that give them a future? Will that give them, longevity in the marketplace? That's I don't know.
Maybe it'll give them a long enough place in the market until Facebook comes in and give you a free series on Facebook Watch. How about that? I'll pay you to be there. So,
but I really think that's probably what's going to end up happening, because what ends up happening in these type of fields and in these type of industries, you got your giants, and when the giants see something like Amazon, once they see something, oh, this product is hot, okay, we're gonna start making that one. Because look at Facebook and look at Instagram, how they've adopted the stories and this type of stuff and the different. Because I think the most interesting thing about Snapchat is probably the filters, and it's the way the content is laid out on your screen versus, we so used to having to drop it this way, but you got nice animations, you got nice, video content, in a more portrait style, which feels more natural to your phone. So I think, it might be something there. I don't know. I'm not, I'm quick to judge, but on this one, I'm not going to say anything on this one because they might surprise me. They got a lot of young folks on Snapchat.
yeah, but again, I mean, it just feels real gimmicky. A lot of things they're doing is just really gimmicky, trendy, to try to, stay up with, and continue to compete with, Instagram and Facebook, but then Instagram will do the same filter
Exactly.
a month later.
Exactly.
So I'm just waiting for that baby filter on Instagram.
Yeah, there's nothing proprietary about Snapchat's technology. Anyone could
It's not.
copy it.
Yeah, it really is. I have not seen anything come from it other than, like I say, it's a cool orientation, and then the 24-hour messages, which I think everybody does that now. Like even on Facebook, I think they got messages that will wipe out after 24 hours. So, like you say, it's I think it's still one of those networks that's kind of looking for an identity. It's kind of like you got this new network out there called Alignable. And they're trying to go up against LinkedIn. Yeah. And they keep signing me up for these profiles that I never asked
so
for.
annoying.
Yeah,
And it's like,
annoying.
you got information from 10
So
years
many
ago
emails
on my
from
profile.
Kevin is
You know?
waiting for you to accept
Right,
it.
you're
So
like,
it's
I'm not
like,
accepting.
This person wants to refer you business. Well, tell them to call me. I don't want to get on another network.
Don't care.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen TikTok? That's the new one that's really exploding in Asia.
I heard about it, but I haven't even tried it
It's
yet.
a short video clips.
Yeah.
Like Vine.
Yes, but a little bit more fun.
Okay.
Oh.
It's an easier to navigate platform.
Okay.
But you know, it's crazy that you mentioned that.
Mhm.
What happened to Vine? Vine was like the hottest thing going
I'ma
for a
tell you
minute,
what- I'ma tell you
and then
what-
all of a sudden it was just gone.
I'm gonna tell you what happened to Vine. Instagram, you can put video
Yeah.
on Instagram. It killed Vine.
Yeah.
And I think that will probably be the future of Snapchat.
Probably.
Probably.
Also in the news, kind of keeping up with the social media trends, is Facebook will start taking a cut of fan subscriptions in 2020. So that's next year, y'all. The social network is revealing its plans as part of a broader slate of monetization related announcements this week at VidCon, and they've confirmed with TechCrunch report that this year that Facebook will be taking a 30% share of subscription revenue.
Facebook think they Apple. That's Apple prices there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Facebook is reaching in your pockets.
First of all, I
Keep it
cannot
free
believe
for all.
people are subscribing to watch somebody's social media feed. I cannot.
I
I would not pay $4.99 to follow nobody.
No.
Okay, I don't care who it is. I'm not paying no $4.99 to follow your
Care
social
that
media
much?
feed. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't even believe that's a business model. But I mean, I get Facebook. I understand. Hey, we provide the platform. We give you the room and the wall and the feed to monetize. I want my cut.
Mhm.
So I mean, I can get them there, but I ain't paying no $4.99 to watch your profile.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
I love your food, but I'm not giving you no $5 to look
No.
at it.
But you know, I've been seeing a lot of those subscription kind of services for these, and it's just additional content. So like on YouTube, which is a big kind of added application, is a Patreon. So people can subscribe to your content through Patreon and donate, and they can get exclusive content that they wouldn't normally get. So it's almost like a one-on-one thing that you can set up. So
But ain't that why I'm on your YouTube in the first place?
well,
I'm just saying.
Listen, just like there's a VIP line and people wait or pay extra to get in VIP for that one bottle, them sprinklers, sparklers. Like people just want exclusivity, and even if I gotta pay $10, $20, or whatever I gotta pay to get that, that's what they're gonna do.
I'm paying $15 a month for Netflix. I'm not paying you no extra to look at your social media feed, okay? If you got some extra content, you better be putting it out for free to make sure I keep watching you on Netflix for $15 a month. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
And then on top of that, you got YouTube Red.
Yeah.
You got YouTube Red, so they getting paid for their content. If you are actually hitting if you're actually hitting the numbers, like once you get to about 10,000 now, you can start to monetize your profile on YouTube. So if you hit those numbers, and because YouTube Red, a lot of people got that subscription. I got it. I do it because I can't stand the ads.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of people and a lot of content creators that's making money off that YouTube Red platform.
Yeah, but it from talking to some YouTubers, it takes a lot of views to actually get enough of a profit or a revenue stream to even make it worth it. So that's why they have these other things like Patreon, where people can give other donations. So there's another revenue stream, and then also with YouTube Red, it's very selective. It's like it's not allowing everybody to come onto that platform for the subscription base. So that's another thing with that. But Facebook, I don't know who's on Facebook subscribing to.
Nobody.
If you are watching live on YouTube and you would like to donate, cash out $influencer365 and donate to the show. We will call your name on air right now.
All right.
I'm waiting. No. Next
Get a cash drop them coins.
I know, if I hear it, I'm like, okay.
Where did all them coins come from? No. All right. So also in the news, the new Instagram feature flags potentially offensive comments and allows you to quietly restrict users.
Couldn't we always do that? Is that really a new
You can
feature?
flag it as spam, but you have to have a really good reason. Like it's offensive, or you have to actually report certain things. It's tricky to.
Gotcha. So in this,
Really?
in this,
'Cause I thought you could just block people.
yeah.
You
So in
can
this,
block them, but that doesn't stop their content.
Really? So I still, if I block a profile, I still see this person popping up on my.
You won't but other people.
Oh,
know.
okay. So if we want to take you off Instagram
You
altogether,
think someone posted something really offensive, you don't want anyone to see that?
Mhm.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it's also an AI that's actually going to start to monitor these pages too. So if it's something that pops up in the language or the word that they're using, the AI is going to flag it automatically.
you know, I'm against stuff like this. I gotta be honest with you. I am a big proponent for freedom of speech, and I just think offensive speech is still free speech. I might not want to hear what you have to say, but you got a right to say it because you might not want to hear what I gotta say. But I still have a right to say it. So I think when we start to allow, computers and robots and all this other type of stuff to start dictating to us what freedom of speech should be, I think it's going to be an issue. I think it's going to be a problem. And I think it's going to get overly sensitive. Like, it kind of worries me about all this stuff that happened in the elections with all this fake news and stuff. And now you got people like YouTube and Google and Instagram and Facebook, they starting to watch the news sites and watch this type of stuff. What regulation are we using, or what rules are we using to decide what's real and what's not real?
Mm-hmm.
And what are we using to decide, okay, this is offensive, this is hate, this is not free speech? I mean, what parameters are we using to decide that? I don't know. I think you should be able to block somebody if I don't want to see you, but you shouldn't be able to take me off the platform.
Now, we should make it, you brought up a good point. I think the problem really is that people are not able to, I guess, discern on social media or internet anymore what's real and what's fake. And I think that's the bigger problem. Like, there's no, like, remember you heard when you watching TV when you're a kid, your moms or your parents were like, TV's not real. Yeah. No one's had this conversation with these kids. Social media is not real. Not all stuff you see on social media is real. And so because...
So y'all really think that boy working at McDonald's got a Lamborghini? I'm just saying.
Full of dripping. No, but that's the biggest problem. Is I think that sometimes people believe, or maybe society has become a lot more gullible, where they're just believing everything they see, and so now they have to be responsible about what's being posted on social media and being able to take that off, because it can sway major decisions. It can sway presidential elections. It can sway like voting and all this other stuff.
But when you start to talk about companies like Instagram and Facebook and Google, that's power. When you have the right to decide what goes on platform, what does not go on platform, you're talking about major power. So my concern begins, who's watching the watchers? Like, who's it exactly? Because let's say this year I want this person to be president. Well, it's not necessarily because somebody's promoting these stories that they're fake. It's just we're not going to allow these to come up in searches, so this person gets more visibility. And then there you go, you swayed another election, whether the news was fake or not. So I mean, I don't know. It's a slippery slope when we start to get into stuff like this, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. So also on ATL Business Journal, we did an interview with Dietrich Hatton, a gospel artist, and please go ahead and check that out. He dropped some really good nuggets just on the gospel industry. He also talked about people being prepared in their industry, and that's pretty much what he alluded to. His success is about being prepared for the moment, being prepared for the opportunity.
Okay.
And a lot of times people want to do things like, I want to be a business owner, I want to be an actor, I want to be an influencer, or they have these wants, but they don't prepare themselves for the moment. And I think that's one of the biggest things, that hinders a lot of people, is that, success is when opportunity meets preparation, right? So, he really spoke on that. He talked about his new music that is coming out. Okay. So, go and see that on atlbusinessjournal.com.
Yes, check it out. Now, we're getting ready to roll out, Miss Foodista Girl.
Nailed it.
Got it. All right, so we always, we try to end every show with the quote of the day. So I'm going to let you do this one because it's pertinent to your field.
I like it. Don't say anything online that you wouldn't want plastered on a billboard with your face on it.
That's right.
By Aaron Bury.
All right.
I think
agree with that.
Exactly.
Don't say anything online that isn't
think before you
what
share.
You want your grandmother to hear.
Or better yet, think about your grandchildren will be seeing this.
That's true.
Right?
Even though Facebook said they're going to have it offline in 90 days.
Yeah.
Which is questionable. We love you, Facebook. Anyway, thank y'all so much for joining us at Influencer Radio. Please stay tuned to us. Monday, we will be on the Real 1100 AM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We'll be sitting down with Michelle Taylor Willis. Thursday next week from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We are right back here in the world famous World Star Hit radio station, bringing nothing but influencer radio and business news to you all day long. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure that you check out our Apple podcast. We got so much stuff going on.
Man, Apple.
Check us out on, if you are a iPhone user, download the podcast. You can go to Apple Podcast, just search for Influencer 365. If you see the orange, it's us. You can check us out on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. We're everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Just look for Influencer 365. When you see the orange, you got the right one. So thank y'all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.